everybody, my name is Duan and welcome to my channel, Faithfully Living, where we learn how to study the Bible together. In this video, we are going to be looking at literary context. So this is the final video in a series of videos that we have been doing where we're looking at the different contexts in which to view the Bible. Alright, let's get started. So what is literary context? Literary context is looking at the different forms of a book and passage of the Bible and taking into account how the text was written. When we look at literary styles, we think about poetry or narrative. So you know the Bible is a collection of writings, and each author communicated in writings in specific ways as inspired and led by the Holy Spirit. So some of the major literary genres of the Bible would be narrative / story, poetry, proverbs. Then we have visionary writings such as prophecy and apocalyptic. So to put it into better context, when you look at Genesis and Exodus, those are some narratives that have some poetry in it. You have Psalms, which is poetry. Then when you look at Daniel and Revelation, it has prophecy in it, and then it also has apocalyptic writings in it. So why look at literary context? So literary forms require some level of interpretation. You think back to high school when you had to take that English literature class where you had to read a particular passage and then try to identify what literary form that particular passage was utilizing. So each literary form has distinctive features which affect how we read the passage. So understanding the literary forms within the books of the Bible helps to understand how the author was communicating to his audience. It's going to also help you better understand the message of the Bible and how it can apply to our lives. Alright, so now let's look at some helpful tips in understanding literary context within the Bible. So narrative is the dominant form in the Bible. So these are the stories of the Bible. So when you read a story, you should be an active reader. And Leland Ryken, in his book, How to Read the Bible as Literature and Get More Out of It, gives us some helpful tips. He says to read stories well, then we need to be active in visualizing, in imagining scenes, and entering into the spirit of events, and identifying with characters. One of his rules for reading stories of the Bible is simply this: look into biblical stories as an invitation to share an experience as vividly and concretely as possible with the characters in the story. Stories are always built out of three basic ingredients: setting, characters, and plot, meaning action. Reading a story involves paying attention to the interaction of these three elements. So where do you look to find literary context? If you have a study Bible, study Bibles tend to have an introduction at the beginning of each book where it talks about the setting of the book, the author, and a lot of times it talks about the literary form of that book. If you have a Bible handbook, they tend to have summaries of the book, goes into literary context, and has a little bit more detail about that particular book. Commentaries, since some commentaries go verse by verse, it tends to go into a little bit more detail, explaining the literary context of within a particular passage, verse, and chapter of a book of the Bible. In the description of this video, I'll also put some more resources where it dives more into looking at the literary context of the Bible. So I hope this video was helpful for you as we look at literary context and how it's helpful to understanding the Bible. Also, thanks for watching this series. If you looked at all the other videos where we talked about the different contexts and how they're helpful in understanding the Bible, if you didn't, go back and look at those videos. They're extremely helpful to help you better understand the different contexts in which we can view the Bible and how it's helpful to understanding the Bible as we study it. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.